welcome to Living with Mary J. Today is such a wonderful day and I'm enjoying it so much. I had this incident involving trust going on in my life. And like I said, this is Living with Mary J, so I'm talking to you about issues or concerns that I'm going through. And we kind of talk about it and hopefully I'll help you and in return you'll help me. We're talking about trust, so stay right there and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Trust is an action that we all have or we take part of daily. We trust lots of different types of people for different types of reason. And trust can't be taken lightly. Some people have taken advantage of our trust and have hurt us dearly. And then some people, they take our trust and they just run with it and we trust them and they trust us. So it's a feeling of that's being reciprocated from one to another. But you may ask, what exactly is trust? Trust is, as I said, it's this action that we all feel and that we've given or has been given to us. But basically, when you think about trust and when you trust someone, you're trusting them and that makes you feel safe. It means that that particular person is a reliable person, that you feel at ease with this person or this thing, whatever is going on in your life. I was talking to someone the other day, a dear friend of mine, and she accused me of being too trusting on this situation. And when she said that, that started to make me think about things I've never thought about because she was I'll just go ahead and tell you, since this is Living with Mary J and this is about my life, okay? She mentioned something about my husband and she said, you're just so trusting. And yes, I am very trusting, especially when people have given me no reason to doubt their trust or haven't proved themselves to be untrustworthy. Of course I trust. That's just the type of person that I am. But when this person planted the seed of negative doubt in my mind and said that I was too trusting, and it was like, and I was like, really? And she says, yeah, you are. You're just too trusting. You're one of those trusting types. And as I said, I listened to her and I started really thinking about, well, what is trust and how important it is to me and how it should be important to a whole lot of people and how we go through life trusting individuals that, yes, we should trust and sometimes we shouldn't trust. I'm going around in a circle here, but it's going to all work out. It's okay. As I said, when we trust people, we feel safe. We feel a little bit more comfortable with these people when we're trusting them. And so when we trust, we get some things in return. We get comfort, we get relaxation, we get friendship, and in my case, trusting have gotten me love. Because when I met my husband, or at that time, my boyfriend, long time ago, I trusted him. I looked at what we had, what we were building on, the relationship, and I trusted the things that he was saying to me, the things that we were doing together, and that trust eventually built into a friendship. And that friendship went on to grow into love. And that's where we are today. The trust had, as I said, friendship. When you trust someone, you get that friendship where you become friends at first. And knowing that you're friends and trusting that individual, it brings you, you can pretty much make predictions with people. For instance, I trusted him a lot, so I knew on Friday nights pretty much I can kind of predict that we were going to be together. I hope you can make those connections because trust is, it's just such a strong factor when someone shows you that he or she can be trusted. And that's what we really want. We're just able to relax. We let our guards down when we feel that we can trust a person. We become sort of exposed and open. So we can't take trust lightly. It's really, really serious. And then when someone mistakes our trust, or in my particular case with my friend, saying something to question the trust that I have for my husband or just for another person, then, it's really it just kind of bothered me. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it, because trusting someone, I think it's normal. And I think that when you don't trust someone, you either have a reason not to, or something's going on with you, maybe something that's happened in the past why you don't trust someone. Now, I have had some things happen in the past to me that I would admit, it was hard for me to actually trust, to have a relationship with someone, to trust them, because someone had mistaken my trust in a previous relationship prior to me meeting my current husband. I was dating this particular person, and I trusted him. It was in college, matter of fact. I trusted him, and I thought we were on the road to maybe one day getting married. We had actually started talking about getting married, and he had said that, of course, I was going to be the one. I mean, we've all heard those stories. You're the one and only. I don't want anyone else than you. I found my true love. I want to spend every second of life with you. And that's what he said. And we were going through all the steps and going through all those phases that when you're in a relationship. He was meeting my parents. I was meeting his parents. We were spending time with each other's friends. I trusted him. And then I found out that I should not trust him because he mistook my trust. And that hurt. It hurt really, really badly. And when you found out something that you don't want to find out, that when you've given your all, as I said, you've exposed yourself. You left yourself without protection because you're like, okay, I love this person. I believe in this person. And so I'm going to give my all in all. And that's what I did. And then this person just did something that he shouldn't have done. And, what he did is he started seeing someone else. And I didn't know about it. And then when I found out about it, of course, he denied it. And as we continue talking, I'm going to tell you some signs that I found out too late, that these are signs that you might want to look into of what is not, a person who's demonstrating untrustworthy characteristics. And then when I found out some of these characteristics, that's when it was like, boom, the light bulb went off. These signs were there all along. I just didn't see them because I'm a trustworthy, I'm trusting type of person. And sometimes when you're trusting and you're nice and, but I don't want to say that something's wrong with you, because trusting and loving someone and believing in someone, that's a good thing. When the other person does something that he or she should not, that's not the good thing. It doesn't say anything about you. So we still need the good people in the world. We just need those other people to come on board. So anyway, when my particular person, I didn't have the ring just yet, but like I said, we were talking about marriage, and in my heart, I thought every time he said, "Oh, I'm going to come over and we're going to do this," I'm thinking he's going to, have this ring and slide it on my finger, but it just never happened. And when I found out that he was seeing someone else, of course, he denied it. And that just it just tore me apart. So that's my past. That's what this incident that happened regarding trust in my life. It's kind of hard to talk about, but it did happen. And of course, when things like that happen to us, it affects us. We can't help but, say that it's going to affect us when we just, as I said, leave yourself exposed and open up to another person. And then when it happens, you just kind of carry that over, and it makes it hard for that other person that's going to come into your life, that's going to say, "Hey, you're my one and only," and you're hearing those words again, and you're thinking, "Hey, I've done this before, I've heard this before, and I know where this is leading." So that second person coming to you saying, "Trust me, I love you," you're going to be a little bit harder on that person than you were the first time. Because like I said, when you trust someone, you want to feel safe, and you give yourself physically to this person as well as emotionally. So saying that you trust someone and giving your trust to someone, it's not something that you take lightly. And other people know that when you are being trusted, you have to take that seriously, because you're dealing with someone's emotions. You really are. And we take this trust that is given to us, and this trust, as I said, it grows into a friendship. Like it did with my current husband when we were just friends, just starting to date. It grew into a friendship. because I knew on Friday nights or Saturday nights, once I went through the work week or the week at school, I knew we'd be together. I knew he would want to be with me. I knew I could find him, or he could find me at a certain time. So it was like predictable, or also it's just, I was trusting him. I didn't, that reminds me of something else that I'll just tell you about with this trust. When I was dating him, my husband has a brother. Well, matter of fact, he has a lot of brothers, and they look alike. But he has one that's probably about 3 years older than he, and they look so much alike. I mean, they almost could have been identical twins. Well, my family, especially the women in my family, we're very close. And we're going to tell each other things, even if it hurts, because we're not going to let anybody else going to hurt our family member. That's just the way we are. So it's kind of funny because I told my husband about it, and he was kind of mad at my aunt. But my aunt, and she's my aunt, but we're close in age. She saw my husband's brother with this other girl when we were dating. And so it's not like she couldn't wait to tell me. She actually approached me. We were at choir rehearsal, and she approached me and she says, "I got something to tell you." And then her voice was kind of calm, and it sounded serious. And I said, I asked her, I said, "What is it?" And she says, "Girl, this is what we do. This is what Johnson women do. We talk. We're real with each other." And I said, "Yeah, I know." And she says, "Well, I got to admit, he had me fooled." And I said, "Who?" And she says, him, who I was dating." And she said, I thought he was really nice." She says, "But I saw him the other day in a car. I saw him the other day getting in another girl's car, and they were kind of hugged up." And I asked her, I said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm sure it was him. I know him because he's a good-looking guy. I know him." And I said, I asked her again, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yes." And so I said, "No." After I asked her, was she sure? And of course, I will tell you guys from other shows, I told you some things go over my head because I'm so trusting, and I just believe people for what they're telling me. After I asked her, was she sure? The next thing I said, "No, it couldn't be." And sure enough, that's what a lot of ladies or men say. They're like, "No, that can't be true." But in my heart, I knew it wasn't true. Because I knew this person, I knew him. I knew that he showed me all the signs of being a trustworthy person. First of all, so let's talk about these signs. What was he showing? Trust. Okay, so he was showing me that, from some of our other conversations and talking, one of the signs to know that this person is trustworthy is that they're not afraid to say, "I'm sorry." And you may say, "Well, sorry, what does that have to do with trust?" Saying "I'm sorry" lets you know that this person is honest. It means he or she can go back and say, "Yeah, I made a mistake, and I'm sorry." So they're caring about that relationship with you, and they can say, "I'm sorry." It just it shows there a truth factor in that itself, just being able to say you're sorry. Then another thing, another sign to show that a person, I think, is trustworthy is if they touch you. They want to hold your hand. They have an excuse to come over and sit by you. When you're dating them or even married, sit by you, because that shows that deep connection. When someone wants to if you're walking and all of a sudden you feel this warm hand touching your hand, that's a deep connection of this person loving you and trusting, and they're reciprocating your feelings. So he was demonstrating that feeling as well. So that's sign number 2. And the third sign is when you're with someone and they're able to give you the details of their day, maybe from the morning to the evening, whenever, not that you're being nosy and you want to know it all, but they can just, you don't even have to ask. And they're starting off from the beginning saying, "This happened to me, and then this happened," and they're not leaving anything out. And you're just thinking in your mind, "Oh, well, I know how your day went." But when someone's leaving some things out and some hours throughout the day, and then some of those things seem to overlap, then that gives us a reason to say, okay. But if a person is openly sharing with you what he or she did all day, giving you all those details, then that gives you, that's building that honesty there too. That means they're being consistent in what they're saying, because it's connecting. But when someone's telling you something and it's just not connecting and you're like puzzled, like you said, what? At 12 you were where? And then all of a sudden you saw who? Okay, and then they say it again. It's just not really flowing. So then, when they give you those full details, and that's something that he was doing too, give me full details. And I didn't know that. Like I said, looking back, I can see he had all those good signs of being a trustworthy person. And so another thing you want to look for in a person who is trusting is if they listen to you. They'll drop everything. They could be washing dishes or mowing the lawn or whatever they're doing, working on the computer, I guess. And you walk by and you have a concern and you're trying to talk. But if they just keep on, this is what I think, okay? And if they just keep doing what they're doing and they're not listening to you, even though you want to talk to them, I don't know, because what I'm telling you are things that are really good in a relationship that, you can tell that this person is interested in you. Because when they're interested in you, most likely you can trust them and they're trusting you. Because when the person listens to you, drops everything and listens to you, that shows you that that person cares. Okay, so we're going to recount and go over these signs in a little bit, but right now, not to confuse you. So now we've got these signs of how you can tell when a person is due your trust. Okay, because they're showing all of these nice signs. They're showing you that they care. They're showing you that they're honest. They're showing you that they indeed are capable, but also they deserve your trust that you're putting in them. Because like I said, trust is not something that should be taken lightly. And like I said, you're giving a deep part of yourself to someone when you trust someone. Because as I said, when someone mistakes your trust, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I gave you one example in college about someone, this person I was dating, and how he mistook my trust. But I also had a relative that mistook my trust, my parents' trust in that. And that's a deeper story, but it hurts really bad when you trust a relative and they just, mistake the trust and take it in another direction. And then I asked my, later on when I was talking to my mom and dad about this situation, I don't want to really go into it right now, I should, but later on in another episode, we will talk about it. But I was asking my mom and dad, when I told them about what happened, I said, I trusted this person, and he mistook my trust. And they could see the signs once I started talking that this person had demonstrated untrustworthy signs. And I, of course, was a little bit mad at them, like, hey, if this person showed this untrustworthy signs, then, hey, why'd you leave this person with me? Why'd you let me be around this person? So when people are showing these untrustworthy signs, flags need to go up. We need to just, as I said, when you're trusting, you're unexposed. But when you decide that you can't trust someone, then you need to protect yourself. Put on some type of guards. But here's how you can tell a person, I think, is untrustworthy. A person who lies all the time. Now, we always come around someone, we know somebody that lies. But when they lie to themselves, we've heard people like, man, that person could lie so much, he's lying to himself. The lies just keep going, and they're going, and they get them all tangled. And they still think they're telling the truth because the lies to them sound so good. And it goes back and forth, these horrible lies. Then, of course, you can't trust that person. And then when a person breaks your confidence, as I said, you feel confident in a person, and they break it. You might have told someone a secret, and you're just like, hey, can I tell you something? Please don't tell anyone. And then this person tells you, they tell someone else what you just have told them, and you're just hurt. You're like, I thought I let my guard down, and I told you, just hoping that you could hold what I was telling you. And then you find out that they told someone. We all have been there. And then they put you in a situation they put you in a situation that you just didn't want to be in, but now you found yourself in. And that reminds me of what my mom used to say. Back when we were children, of course, you couldn't hold anything, as old people could say. I had told one of my sisters there's three of us really that lived in the same house at the same time, even though we're a large family. I had told one of my sisters something. I mean, it was like juicy, juicy, juicy news. And she went and told the other one. And I was so hurt. I was like, how could you? Well, I told Loretta, and I was like, how could you tell Carolyn? I didn't want Carolyn to know. And I was so upset at Loretta for telling Carolyn. And Mom, I went to my mom and I said, I can't believe Loretta did that. I mean, she promised me that she would not tell, and she did. And now Carolyn knows, and I know if Carolyn knows, everybody's going to know. And so this is what my mom says, and I always remember it. She says, if it's so good that you can't hold it, how do you think somebody else is going to hold it? So needless to say, I laugh at that when I think about that today. You got to make sure that when you're talking to someone, that this person is trustworthy, okay? Because if they void or they take advantage of your confidence in them, then that person is not trustworthy, okay? So at that moment, Loretta she proved herself untrustworthy because, and to this day, I really don't tell her too much because of that incident long, long time ago. So then we have these people that show us mistrust when they don't have empathy. We all need empathy. Empathy is like one of those things we all should have towards one another. We should feel empathetic when we hear something, someone's telling us something that they're concerned about. We should show some type of empathy. Oh, I'm sorry that you're going through this. I'm sorry that happened. But if they just kind of like have a face, a clear face, and it seems as though nothing is affecting them, it didn't bother them at all, what you're telling them, then I don't know. That's not really the type of person I want to trust. So we need to watch out for that. And then we've got this person, as I said, it kind of goes back to the lying part. If there's inconsistency. If there's inconsistency in their life, you see it. They're at this place. You think they're living in this place. Then they're moving in this apartment. They're saying one thing. They're on this job. Then they're on another job. It's just inconsistency. They said they're going to pick you up from work, but then they don't. And then one day, and then you need a ride home, and then the next day, and they know you need a ride home because you told them your car's in the shop. And then the second day, they're like, oh, I don't know. Okay, that's not trust. That's not a person you can trust. So when you need to get home, you need to call someone that you can trust. So as I said, there's different signs that people will show us, and there's probably even more than that. Those are just ones I just wanted to talk to you about. When they're showing you these signs, inconsistency, lacking empathy, breaking your confidence in things, lying. I mean, you can see that these are negative behaviors, negative characteristics and these individuals that have these can mistake our trust. So be careful. Like I said, trust is very good. Now, there's a couple of steps in us giving our trust. And first of all, when we decide to trust someone, I mean, it's just common and very ordinary. At first, when we decide to trust someone, of course, there's rules. First way is that we'll give a rule. We're like, okay, this is how it's going to be. I'm dating you solely. Or if there's trust, if someone's going to build a fence for you, you'll say, okay, well, you build a fence for me. I'll give you, X amount of dollars. So you're going to either verbally say it or you're going to write it down. So we've got those type of trusts that we work with. And then mainly dealing with relationships, sometimes there's this trust on knowledge. You already know what this person, has done or will do. So this is, what they say, you're coming in with prior knowledge of this individual or this individual situation. So we all have those. Like I said, I mean, I've experienced some things. So and I'm always talking about dating someone. Sometimes when I'm talking to my daughters about dating, they're like, Mom, you dated a lot of people. No, I have not dated a lot of people. It's just I've had some experiences with the few people that I did date. So let's clear that up. Mommy didn't date a whole lot of people. But there was a lot of times you need to know what you're getting. I mean, we go into situations knowing what it is. We may date someone or start dating, trying to marry someone. We know already what this person has done in the past. Not to say that we shouldn't allow people to change, but sometimes we already know. So we go into that and we give our trust knowing that this person may hurt me because they hurt this other person. or this person may disappoint me because he's disappointed this other person, or this person may not do the job that I want this person to do because I got a recommendation. The person recommending said, hey, he'll do a good job, but he's a little slow. So you may have to call him a couple of times. So before we trust, a lot of times before we trust, we go into it knowingly. And then we trust, and this is like the ultimate trust, and which we pretty much have with our spouses, with the people that we know that we want to spend the rest of our life with. We have this trust of experience because we've experienced this time with this person, and this relates to my relationship and why I thought my best friend should have said this about my husband, even though it was cute. We have this trust of experience. We know that this person who we're with has been with us for a while, have experienced some things with us. They know our hopes, our dreams, our fears. They know what we're anticipating. They can pretty much predict what we're going to do. They sometimes know what we're going to wear that next day to work. So, that's that trust through experience. And it's so beautiful. Trusting is a great thing. And as I said, a lot of people, most of all, we need to trust. There's a saying. It says, love all, trust a few, and hurt none. And when we do that and when we think about that, because not everyone deserves our trust. Not everyone. But the few people that we let into our life to trust, we need to trust them. And in return, like I said, the trust is reciprocated. Because we're getting something from that situation. We're getting something from that relationship. So trust is a great thing. And even though I had that experience of my friend telling me that I was too trustworthy, I don't think so. I think I put my trust in a very good person. I think I put my trust in my friends that are due my trust. And in return, they get trust from me. I'm very reliable. I have empathy. I am also consistent in what I'm doing. If I tell a person I'm going to do something, in most cases, they can trust me, I'm going to do it. I had a girlfriend that was going to have a baby shower. She was like, I need some help. I said, here I am, I'll help you. And she knew that she could count on me. So when she called me and said, well, hey, what is this? Or do you have this? I said, yes, because I showed myself trustworthy. But if you have someone in your life that, this way and that, and you can't trust, there's no way that you're going to obligate yourself to them or to a certain task. I mean, you know that. So therefore, you've given them the trust of knowledge. You know this already. So you just kind of handle that person, as they say, with the long handle spoon because of that. So trust is as beautiful, as I said. I enjoyed talking to you guys about trust. I hope that I've helped you because, as I said, with this experience, this person putting this little doubt in my mind, it really made me start thinking about it. And so I'm okay. And I hope that I've helped you today. And we're going to talk again, okay? So have a good day, and I've enjoyed you. Love you guys. Thank you.